Hello, world. I'm Dr. Helen, CEO, that's Chief Engagement Officer of Dr. Helen Holton and Associates, and your host for Dr. Helen Speaks, Strengths, Resilience, and Leadership. Welcome to today's show. John F. Kennedy said, leadership and learning are indispensable to each other. As Strengths, Resilience, and Leadership coach, the greatest thing we do is stand in the gap for leaders like you, especially women. Women leaders who want more for your life and your leadership. Our number one goal is to motivate, inspire, and move you forward in pursuit of your goals, dreams, and desires. Your greatest you is ready to break through to your best you. Each week, we explore topics to discover, uncover, and unpack ways for you to leverage your strengths, the best of who you are, manage weaknesses, we all have them, and build your resilience. Resilience is the power to help you persevere and push through life's distractions, detours, derailers, all those things that get in the way of your success. Using an innovative, heart-centered approach with proven results, we help you achieve more success with less stress and greater joy in life. What does success look like? It looks like a whole lot of things. However, when you come to this community, success looks like an increase in your performance, productivity, and prosperity potential. Your bottom line. Everybody wants a stronger bottom line. Just imagine being able to breathe easier and exhale, even in this ever-increasing demand on your time, talents, and treasures. As your show host, coach, and convener of leaders, we'll talk about how you can optimize your leadership. We're shifting gears, focusing on learn, burn, and earn. What does this mean? Here's a brief overview of what we're going to unpack over the next few weeks. And I'm so happy today to have with me a leader I've known for more than 25 years, always reinventing herself and pursuing her passion, which is a lot about what we talk about here on Dr. Helen Speaks. So when you think about learn is about new knowledge. And we're not just talking about the learning you need to do for professional growth and development. It's lifelong learning that's sustaining. How do you set your intentions to regularly learn something new, to acquire new knowledge? What does it feel like when you do? And then there's burn, that deep passion or desire you have about how you can make a difference in the world. The power that only you hold and possess that will fulfill that fire that burns deep within you. Do you know what that is for you? How would you explain it to someone you just met? And then there's earn. Now, earn really encompasses the gratification you receive, that sense of accomplishment, personal fulfillment. Maybe it is money, 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 money. You know, there was a song back in the day that the OJ sang to tell us a little bit about all the things about money. All right, getting a little nostalgic, walk down memory lane. I digress. But today, we're going to take a deeper look into life lessons learned as a part of learning, which is something we really do every day, whether we acknowledge it or not. I always start a show with this one question that always burns for me when I think about the work that we do. Do you have the opportunity to do what you do best every day? And if you don't, or if you don't know, stick around. We're here to help you figure it out. I do, and I love it. And trust you me, I didn't get here without the help of other people. More importantly, we at Dr. Helen Holton and Associates, we want that for you even more. Here's what we've learned is that at the heart of everything you want lives within you a higher power to deepen your awareness and engagement with your best self. And when you get real with you, and I mean really real, and confront your deepest truth about what you want for your life, transformation begins to happen at that moment of realization or awareness, personally and professionally. The key ingredient is your engagement. Engagement is one of the easiest, most effective ways to upshift your success through your personal, no one else's, your personal, unique path to be seen, heard, and impactful. That's what sets you apart from anyone else. On some level, isn't that what you really want for your life? To have a genuine sense of belonging where the world gets to connect with the best of who you are? Our goal is to help you bring your best, your A game to the world. And it's here that we support and guide you to connect and engage deeper with who you are at your very best. Now, I want to introduce you to my guest for today, Marsha Reeves Jews. I met Marsha early on in my professional life, and I believe it was before my path into public life. However, all I know is that since I've known her, she's continually moved into a space of where I think today really is her sweet spot as founder and CEO of WKIM Media Network. It kind of pulls together a life of lessons learned, ups and downs, successes and failures, all that stuff. At least that's the way I see it. However, before then, I remember her as the president and chief operating officer and associate publisher of Career Communications Group. And yes, they're still around today doing powerful work. And I know it's some of the seeds and some of Marsha's vision that took her into that place and space. She came to Baltimore as the executive director of the Alvin Ailey Dance Theater of Maryland Foundation. A passion for the arts she's always had, which makes sense when you look at the work she's done working with women in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. Still a hurdle for us to achieve as women, mainly because men just don't see us as having that sort of brain and intellect and passion around science. So I want to leave you with this before we get into the conversation. Along your life's journey, you've learned some things, and that's why we're looking at this learn, burn, and earn. And you've learned to give up some things and hopefully grown up some too. And you failed. I want you to think of failed not as a bad thing, because on the other side of failure is success. Think about anything fail as a first attempt in learning. Oftentimes we don't get it right the first time out. However, if we keep going after it, it does work. And so our role is, once again, primarily to be a support for you on your path to live your best life ever. And we're here to motivate you, move you forward, inspire you, give you nuggets of wisdom, whatever you need. What's keeping you forward from here to what's next? That's like that burning question of Dr. Helen Speaks. And we're here live on the Win-Win Women TV network every Tuesday, 10 a.m. Pacific time and 1 p.m. Eastern time. You can catch our shows on Roku TV, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. And soon and very soon, we'll be live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and in our private Facebook group, Strengths, Resilience, and Leadership. Because what we know is that there's not a new thing under the sun. What is new is your knowledge, perspectives, and actions you take through a more informed lens, shaped by the wisdom of lessons learned, lived experiences, and earned expertise from leaders just like you. And so we're here to ignite your spark, fuel your flame, to think, be, and do more of who you really are, to get more of what you really want for your life as a leader. And so it is my honor to introduce to you, present to others, and maybe some of you know her, as someone said to me, oh, tell Marsha hi from me, with the schedule conflict. And it's all possible because of Paula Fellingham, the founder and visionary leader and dreamweaver of the Win-Win Women Network. And together we get to come together to share, learn, and grow, to motivate and inspire your success as a leader. Thank you for for being a part of our community. So I want to jump right in here. And Marsha, give us 2 or 3 of those lasting life lessons you learned and how they impacted your life going forward.
Girl, thank you so much for having me on. That question is really perfect. The reality is that my big thing is keep it moving, right? And we talk about keep it moving because too often we don't keep it moving. We get so caught up in whatever is happening that we start standing and walking in place, opposed to moving through whatever the hurdles, whatever the problems, whatever the madness. We have to stay focused on what's your goal. And, so too often I've traveled, I've lived born and raised in South Bend, Indiana, went to school in New Orleans, went to California, ran away trying to be grown, Chicago, Detroit, Atlanta, DC, Harlem. And so when you sit down and you look at all that, you say, okay, what was that journey and why was that journey necessary? And it was because I was really trying to find myself. We don't always know who we are or who we're supposed to be or who people think you should be or who they think you might be. And sometimes you don't know that. So people are thrown off because they can't put a finger on it because you can't put a finger on it. Particularly if you have a lot of interest. If you, I'm not the person that can just be still and do one thing. I'm that multitasker. And I would imagine that my dear friend, Dr. Holton, is the same way, multitasking. And it's because there's so much going on around you. Too often we get stuck and we don't allow ourselves to explore.
But let's get to those lessons, those nuggets, and I always share with our listeners and viewers, what are those nuggets that stick with you, that are going to empower you and have you thinking about how do you go forward?
Well, I think for me, the nugget was when I sit and talk about keep it moving, it is, I can't get caught in being in an environment where my work environment is not healthy, mentally, emotionally. I keep it moving because it does not feel comfortable for me. And you have to tap into yourself and figure out what you're really feeling. And too often we as women will sit somewhere, be it in a marriage, be it on a job, be it on a board, be it in a community of some sort of activity, and you're not being treated properly. You know what's expected of you, you know what you need, and you know what's not positive for you. You can feel it in your bones. There's something that just happens to you where you say, wait a minute, there is something wrong with this picture. And not everybody that you know or think you know or that you work with really wants you to be successful. And too often they see that you're doing something that they cannot do or are too afraid to do, that you are going to go ahead and push through to make it happen. We can't get caught in that. What is your vision for yourself? Have you created your own vision board? And talk about all the good, the bad, and the ugly, and then sit down and address it.
So how did creating a vision board, and we've talked about this before, and I suggest that at least once or twice a year, it's important to visit that vision board or that vision statement. I did the same thing last fall, and it was just really powerful to look at. It had been years since I'd really sat down to do it. And the challenge was to create a vision statement for your life in no more than 12 to 15 words, which we all know we can get way out there for a whole bunch of verbiage without drilling down to what makes the difference. So vision boarding for you, what did that do to propel you forward?
So my vision board has the good, the bad, and the ugly. Right. And so I there's something, an old African proverb or statement that says you have to know your past to see your future, right? And in doing that, you have to be able to bring up those things so you don't keep following that same trend. So on mine, these are the things that I don't like. These are the things that were painful. These are the things that did not take me where I needed to go. And over here, I've got columns. These are the things that I want to do. These are the things that I should do. Here are my strengths. My strength is opening my mouth and talking. That's my strength. My strength is being able to put people together that should be together doing something together. My strength is being able to stand back, see the picture, and have it painted. If you can't know who you are, what you need, what you want, what makes your soul smile, then you've got to get to another column, because that column says, I don't know what I want to do here. I'm uncomfortable here. I like this, or I don't like that. And we don't want to always dig to get to there. You know, too often we're in a job where you may be excelling, but there are people around you that aren't and don't want you to.
Mm.
And if you can feel, if you are in touch with your person, you'll know who those people are. And you'll know how to deal with them, being just as honest with yourself. And it's not about fear. It's about believing in who you are, believing in what you can do, believing in the strengths that you know you have, and not allowing anybody else in that office or on that job, wherever you are, is sitting in a car with the same person. They cannot take you off your route. That route is for you. And the day that anybody starts putting up barriers, when it ceases to be fun, it's time to go. That's my motto. When it ceases to be fun, it is time to go. 3 husbands later. Right. When it ceases to be fun, it's time to go. And your spirit knows it. Your spirit feels it. You can feel what's going on around you. It doesn't have to be a husband. It can be a boyfriend. It could be a girlfriend. It's a friend of yours down the street. You already know.
But Marsha, let me ask you this. There are a lot of people who stay with things that make them miserable.
Yeah.
In life. They feel tied to them. They feel a sense of responsibility for them. It could be a job. It could be a spouse. It could be siblings. It could be your children, that you take on more than what you want to do. How do you confront these things?
Straight up, no chaser. You know, you have to get to that point now. So you've got to work on it. I'm a journaling person. I'm a journaler. Is that a word? Yes. And I write what I'm feeling. I write what makes me upset. I'll make a little note on something and put it. I got stickies all up on that one wall that'll just say, okay, this did not sit well. This person did. And that's a memory in progress. Mm-hmm. Right? That's a memory in progress. That person disrespected me in front of a whole bunch of people when they have my phone number, know where I live, and can talk to me about whatever happened. But if you want to be disrespectful, and there are a lot of people that need that for their own ego, be it an employer, be it a manager, be it the president of the corporation that you're working in, nobody's supposed to disrespect you.
So I want you to give us like 2 solid lessons that our listeners today can walk away with and say, yeah, I got something. I'm going to marinate on this, and how they impacted your leadership.
Oh, you want real-time experiences?
Well, I mean, lessons learned from life that impacted your leadership positively or not. What was the lesson and what was the impact of it?
So I used to be the vice president of operations for the Marine Corps League Exhibit Company, and we produced the modern day Marine Force and Readiness Military Exposition. It was international, and we brought tanks and helicopters in to do all this stuff. And I was the only little person of color in that office. And there was a young lady who was part of the organization, the nonprofit, that was actually answering the phones, the receptionist. And I was in there with a retired one-star general, a lieutenant colonel, all these guys were retired, lieutenant colonel and major. And then there were some non-commissioned folks that were in the room. And they brought in a new guy, the one-star general, and he was a runner, General Hagen. And he would get up, I guess, at dark 30 and run. So by the time we got to the office, because I had already been working there, right? By the time we get to I get to the office in my chair. Back then they had those big giant Naugahyde chairs, so you can see all the gray hair, big old Naugahyde. That whole thing was full of pieces of paper, because they didn't have stickies back then, pieces of paper taped to the back of my chair. So I couldn't even sit down in my chair because the papers were all on the back of my chair. So I had to really think about that for a minute, because I'm the only woman and I'm the only Black thing in there, right? And I just made a decision. Sometimes you just got to talk to your Lord and say, okay, Lord, this is what I need to do. And I said, okay, whatever, we're going to just deal with whatever those consequences are. So I took all those little pieces of paper off, put them in my hand. I walked to Jerry Hagen's office. And I'm sure by the look on my face, now my daughter was in grade school at that time. I walked to his office, but my nostrils must have been blue like a bull, because I was angry. And he said, just wait a minute. And he gets on what they call the horn, the telephone, the speaker and all. And said, ask the guys to come in there, all the officers. They came into the room and he says, Marcia, now go ahead and tell them what you're going to tell me. And I said, if you ever put all that whatever, I'm not going to curse on your show.
Thank you.
I will blankety blank to you and whatever's behind you. And they all started laughing. And they looked at me and he said, because it took me a minute to go in there, right? It probably was about an hour. So I had to make up my mind that if they might fire me for what I'm getting ready to do. And they started laughing and they said, we were wondering how long it was going to take you.
What was the lesson?
The lesson was believe in yourself, stand up for yourself, do not allow people to disrespect you and play games with your head, because they will. That was a powerful, powerful, powerful lesson for me, because the time that I sat in my office looking and pulling those doggone things of paper and trying to make a decision about whether or not I may or may not keep that job, I could have just walked in there, done what I needed to do, and kept it moving. And we went out for drinks after that. So this was a game people are playing. You don't know if they're playing a game with you or if this is really solid and how you're going to function. And you have to be ready with whatever decision you need to make of whether you're going to stay or go. And that's in life, period. Is this worth you disrespecting me and me feeling this badly for you to stay here? Be it a husband, be it your mama, be it whomever. Should I stay here and take this type of abuse from you? I don't think so. And too often we get comfortable in that.
So today, as founder and CEO of WKIM, Keep It Moving.
We keep it moving.
Media Network. Mm-hmm. What do you say to our audience today? That how do they keep learning and keeping that fire within burning?
I think that unless you're just ready to, go buy a plot and pay up the bill over at the mortuary, you have to make that decision that you're going to live. you have to make the decision that the life that you live is going to be one that you can control as much as possible. There are things that, interfere, but it's all about how you handle it. And what is that outcome, and how is that outcome going to leave you? Is that outcome one that's positive, or is that an outcome that's negative? Is that outcome worth the hassle or not?
I
But
love
only you can do that.
Yes. And here at Dr. Helen Speaks, we often talk about the connection between well-being and engagement. And they really do go hand in hand. When we find that our well-being, be it our career, social, community, spiritual, whatever element, financial, whatever element of our well-being that's out of sync, we've got to engage with that.
No question. And you can't ignore it.
Well, no, I'm going to say this. There are plenty of people who ignore it until it gets to crisis proportion. It's easier to address it when it's small. It's like a snowball rolling down the hill. When it gets to the bottom of the hill, it's like, oh my God, it's gonna, wrap us up in it and keep on going. And so it takes bold moves and actions for us to do that. And so as we're winding down today, Marsha, this wisdom, and I love it, just keep it moving. And it's like the tagline for around our logo, from here to what's next, because there's always a next.
Yeah.
If you wake up with breath in your body, there's something more for you to do. And it's the beauty that it doesn't happen overnight, but it does begin with having a vision. And I love, you talk about a vision board, and whether it's something you write out, whether it's a short statement that you can just I love it because it's my North Star and it encompasses so much, but it drills down to who I am at my core and what I'm after in this life. And I love vision boards. Of course, getting all the right magazines and cutting out all those letters, it takes a lot of time that I seem not to find. But we are so excited that you all have joined us today at Dr. Helen Speaks. And as we're wrapping up, I want to just keep in mind your well-being and engagement are going to help you to think about what lessons in life have you learned that have allowed you to get to where you are today. And it wouldn't be right if I didn't give you, a call to action, something to do. Great conversation. Yeah. Oh yeah, I took a few notes, and I forgot to remind everybody, get your note-taking devices out because you don't want to miss the rich nuggets. And Marsha certainly dropped some on us today to think about well-being in your career. Do you like what you do every day? Socially, do you have meaningful friendships in your life? Financial, how well are you managing your money? And that's a sticky subject today. Your physical, where do you find the energy to get things done? How do you keep it going? Your community, do you like where you live? And for me, it's all wrapped up in your spirituality, that which drives you to think, be, and do you. Remember, I say, always write that down, TBD, think, be, do. It goes with learn, burn, and earn. If you can think it and believe it's true and has potential for your life, jot it down. Take time trying to figure out, what does it mean to be that which is filling my mind with thoughts all the time? And when you think it and you're ready to be it, do it. As Michael Jordan would say, or Nike, just do it. One of two things will happen. You'll fail. And if that's the case, you get up and do it again. Or you'll succeed and you'll look at, what did I do and how can I do it better next time? At Dr. Helen Speaks, we're here every Tuesday, 1:00 p.m. Eastern time. So factor that into whatever time zone you're catching us. And we work with leaders like you using a heart-centered approach to help you optimize your strengths for more success, less stress, and greater joy. Coaching is about a journey that takes you along courageous conversations. And we do that here. And keep coming back for more. We love sharing all these ways and visions of doing and being more. Share it with your colleagues, your coworkers, your friends. Who do you know that would appreciate what you get out of this show? I can say this for me and Marcia, we're living our best life ever. And yet we want that for you more than what we're experiencing it. Because when you get to that place of your best life, the best is still yet to come. If you wake up with breath in your body, there's room to do more. So join the community of Dr. Helen Speaks, Strengths, Resilience, and Leadership on the Win-Win Women Network, where you'll find us every Tuesday, 1 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. See there, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And we'll connect and explore and go deeper into those things that really, really, really mean a lot for you and your life.